same 2-2-2 that we were seeing right now with, the Ice Pick combinations with the Reaper May. So as we jump in, maybe we'll see a little bit of Pharah come to start things off.
Yeah, we're definitely going to be getting Kenobi's thoughts at the end of this as well. But you look right off the rip, Team CC, they're not shy. The Ashe, the Pharah, they're right there, exactly what you were talking about, where, again, LGE.Huya, they're playing more of that standard composition. They have the BAP, they have the Zenyatta, they have the Mei, as well as the Widowmaker, where you see more of a standard style coming out with the Hanzo. It's going up against Bunny on Widowmaker, so I like the direct head-to-head coming out here from Merit right off the rip.
And there were a couple of questions, I think, at the beginning of the playoffs as far as would Merit be able to hold up against the caliber of Widows that we'd likely be able to see throughout their journey, and so far he's been doing relatively well. Kami, again, you can see him trying to pull out the mate, looking for a way to just block off this point, having a really tough time even contesting at the moment. His Team C, they're working their way inch by inch. That's what you're going to see a lot of in this Orisa meta, where it's just, all right, wait for my next cooldown on my shield, and then we'll go the next inch forward, but it doesn't hurt when you're finding headshots from Merit. Molly able to find the kill on the Fearless after he gets pulled into danger, and Bunny is already making the swap back over to try to meet this Widow, and Bunny will take it.
Well, that's going to be an opening, but you don't have the speed because you have Mizuki on the Mercy to fly high in the skies with JWJ, who, by the way, have been picked right off the opening of this map. Got ice picked to the face by Kami, who's going to have the Blizzard as well. So you go to this double sniper composition, and I like this. You're going to be able to take it from all sides. LGE.Huya, however, they're already going to be regrouped as a 6th roster, right back to the point, and you have to be concerned of your Team CC because you already gave up 2 ultimates that you were trying to find value. Sure, the Barrage wasn't going to find the ultimate value, but the Valkyrie might. And swapping over to the Baptiste with the Ana is a little bit concerning for me, but you might be able to find a little value in this nano boost by nano boosting one of the tank members when they get low.
I was about to say, Buddy is almost able to open things up finally in the favor of Team CC, but gets counter-sniped by the Ice Pick, essentially the Icicle of Kami. Just like that, JWJ also down, so without them having their main shield break, will Team CC be able to push through this? Looks like it will be actually an initiation from Lingon, looking for the Blizzard to open things up. The wall's also there, and they will find the Baptiste. Just comes down to will they be also able to take down this Diva. Looks like the mech will come out, and in similar fashion, so will the Pilot, already up to 86% for Lingon Esports.
Yeah, I mean, the Blizzard, the infrared sight was used as well for Lingon Esports and Huya, and why wouldn't you, right? You make that last fight, you get the staggers, you force Fearless over to this Hamster, Team CC, they're now in a staggered fashion. It's going to be really hard to touch this point. The Sven opens up to the whole hog, and you can't even make it there in time. Team CC, we didn't really hit the nail on the head enough too, but the chess of heroes, the game of chess, and the hero selection screen, Team CC not really doing a good job. Where LGE.Huya, they come out with again a more consistent composition, like we were talking about in the pre-show. And Team CC really struggled. You can see that they want to play these type of heroes that they can personally find impact on, but versus the composition with the Mei and the Hanzo or the Widowmaker, as well as Lingon Esports and Huya like to look very comfortable on, you're going to really struggle. So now we go over to Well, where at Lingon Esports and Huya are 1-up. They go over to the McCree here versus Team CC. Again, that comfort pick coming out from the Ashe and the Pharah. Can you find value in this JWJ and Bunny?
You need to, absolutely need to, because we talked about it so often when it comes to the openings on both Control and Assault. Team CC, they're trying to throw in what could potentially be the counter to Lingon Esports, but they're just looking too complete on what everyone knows and loves. And now with Merit on the McCree, it's almost as if they expect that JWJ will once again be coming out in the Pharah. And that's exactly going to be the case, as they'll just bunker up right on the backside of this point, looking to spam that extra fire rate coming out of the McCree as that patch is now live for us here. And it will be just so far the only casualty being the Immortality field so far thrown up by Lengsa. JWJ looking to zone away, but again, Lingon Esports are so close to being able to contest. All they need to do is put one thing. There's already an amplification matrix down. The point will open for Team CC for the fight yet to break out. Kami finds first blood, and the healthfuls, they're trying to get reestablished, but they're so dangerously low for Lingon. Bunny will find first blood for his team, that in the fashion of the Orisa.
Yeah, Bunny's got to pause the game to reload real quick. So, you know, it's one of those deficits of playing Ashe, but also a plus side as well. You talking about the live patch, the one thing that is not here that you are dealing with at home with the live patch, ultimates are still gained at 12% plus than what you're playing with. Already has the Ashe ultimate. The Bob will come out to play. Baptiste amplification matrix is already used, but a great use of the concussive blast. We talked about this from JWJ. Great positioning utilizing the skybox and the buildings here on Well so far to keep themselves well hidden. And this dynamite that's being used from Bunny keeps Merit suppressed.
Yeah, I was going to say, Merit's having a really tough time. You see, he wants to try to find the 1v1 versus Bunny, but now it's actually a 7v6 on point as Bomb comes out to play. JWJ looking for potentially an opportunity to let this barrage rip, but he's nowhere near his opponents. Finally, Merit able to take the 1v1 away from his team, actually, against Bunny, but the numbers are appreciated as Bob fades away. JWJ feels like he needs to make a play, so he'll move on through. Here comes the High Noon looking just to zone for now as the point is trying to get flipped. Almost there, but it's still 62% for Team CC, and they're putting enough pressure to make sure it's staying in contest. This is all very valuable time capture percentage-wise for Team CC.
A second amplification matrix is used. This is all before J-Mac got their first bongo as well, and you look for the hook into the well. Denied. Team CC are playing very well together behind the shield of Fearless, who throws down their bunker.
Trying to zone away just to get this last little bit of progress, but Team CC is just able to touch in time before LGE.Huya and Huya could finally come through. The Blizzard trying to zone away that back right, and now at the barrage from up close, JW was able to find one. Sven, though, turns around for all of D.Va, both Mech and Pilot alike, but the damage is too good. We questioned if Bunny would be able to find value on the Ashe, and he responds with an absolute yes, he will.
Yeah, this bunker of Team CC, especially for well, you would think that with the Ashe and the Pharah that you'd be looking for all these wild angles, but that's not so much the case. I mean, Bunny has these opportunities, these openings, if you will, to find off angles, but they're always playing together. They're always playing behind the barrier from Fearless, and this just allows them to find great utilization of every single kit out of all 6 members of this roster, and that's what you expect to see. That's why the Mei and the Hanzo, or the Mei Widowmaker from LGE.Huya, that's why it looks so good. It's because you're able to find value in every single kit. On LGE.Huya, they were pushed to the limit here, man. They had to be able to find different off angles. They had to basically create themselves hero plays so that way they could find value. So going over to Ruins, Merit's gonna have a more direct head-to-head. Didn't find value on the McCree, but versus the Widowmaker of Bunny, they might be able to find a little bit more. And with JWJ on this Pharah, you would think that it would be a free pick and an opportunity for Merit to find that headshot. But the way that JWJ plays, we've seen it all across the board, plays very comfortable with utilizing every single bit of the terrain. Already can cause a blast back to the spawn room. Probably going to see a swap there. It's a double sniper from Team CC. I like that because beyond Lighthouse, they did play with it a little bit more often, especially with the Pharah, and it didn't find value. So you go back over to the spawn room, you take that wholesome swap over to the Hanzo, into the Baptiste, you lose the first point capture, but you have a better composition to assault with.
But we've already seen so far that the team that opens up at the point will just go 100-0 on you, and with the Mei instead of the Hanzo, you would argue that LGE.Huya maybe has better point control than Team CC, so was that extra time for him to go back and swap even worth it? We'll see what happens here as Bunny's looking to open things up with the sniper, gets pulled into danger, although no one's able to actually connect down to Bunny, so he'll just be able to grapple away for free. And again, LGE.Huya just bunkering up underneath those scaffoldings, and Merit up top, looking for the 1v1 versus Bunny. You can see both players very nervous to peek, and Merit will go for the grapple shot, not able to hit, but it's Kami and Sven who are able to open things up against D.Va, 6v5. The amplification matrix is there, but the damage from the side is too good. Kami just putting everybody in the freezer, and that will be enough for the rest of his team to push on through the whole hog for 3, and LGE.Huya will already find themselves 50% capture.
I love this from LGE.Huya. How do you make a D.Va less comfortable when you bait out Defense Matrix? It's still on a 2-second cooldown, and you only get 2 seconds worth of use, essentially. So, yeah, when you basically put Sia into overdrive mode, look at the ult charge, 53% comparatively to everybody else that has it on the board versus the Hog that already used it on LGE.Huya and Huya. This is not a good pick, but it's made to basically keep yourself safe. LGE.Huya look to make this last fight territory, and they still have 4 ultimates to come around in this fight.
Dragons will start things off, though, for Team CC. Infrasight there as well. And you see the Immortality field out for Team CC. Bunny with the first blood. Looking to possibly turn things around. Faraway still holding on to a Transcendence, as you'll see. Molly will open up with one of his. Supercharger also ready. Merit able to find the counter onto Bunny. Is that enough for them to find enough of a flip? And Team CC will actually have the map presence here and the point presence to flip the point back into their favor. So 92% is where it'll stall out. But the fight is still ongoing. It's just without a lot of support here, as finally Kami will get taken down. He was sitting up in the front for so long. Amplification Matrix will be here, and that'll be enough for them to get back to full HP. Likely for LGE, it'll be the self-destruct sequence up overhead. Not going to find anything, but JWJ has found enough space to not only find Molly, but also Merit. It looks like Team CC will finally clean up this fight.
The space has been made. Great immortality field thrown down from Mizuki to keep the tanks alive to allow that play to come through. Saw Fearless was just jiggle picking with the cubby on the point underneath the bridge. League on Esports, well, they had to basically use everything. They had to throw everything in the kitchen sink. They have time. 40% and counting for Team CC on this point capture. Mizuki has the amplification field available. Another Dragon Strike available for JWJ. League on Esports and Huya look to find a little bit more value in Kami's with the right click, so that way they can get another Blizzard, and they are getting close.
And this is the weird part where, again, League on Esports, it's not just nice to get a pick from Merit, but it's almost needed. Amplification Matrix comes out, Dragon Strike as well. Will be countered by an Immortality Field. All of League on Esports and Huya able to stay healthy and alive for now. Just comes down to how do you potentially open this up with no ultimates besides the Amplification Matrix of your own. And again, you look at Merit, you need to find a pick or possibly even Kami. You see those icicles being thrown right through. Trying to finally get on the point. The pressure is here. Now a Blizzard is ready to go. Amplification Matrix is open. It actually forces out Farway to hit the Transcendence early. So now all of a sudden this Blizzard could come out without any kind of a support counter. And look at this. League on Esports realize that without that there, they can push on forward. Here comes the Blizzard in the back line. Here comes the follow-up. Molly with the Transcendence to keep everybody alive. But the damage is just not there yet. Team CC are trying to keep themselves alive with the 1-for-1 trade. Self-destruct sequence misses, but it's Merit. He's in a 1v1 with Buddy. Respect it. And Merit finds the double. And that's enough for LGE.Huya to swing the tides back in their favor. Plus also the point. They're at 99%, just down to the overtime, and there's no one left to contest.
Yeah, and you really hate to see it at the end of the day. It's just going to come down to a minor stall here from Sia. Here comes the pile drive. Not lasting long is the ball, even with Mizuki onto the... Wow. Good headshot, Mizuki. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's an overextension. You really hate to see it at the end of the day. Team CC having to use their Transcendence far away. Having to use it for themselves to stay alive instead of using it for the Blizzard, a minor misplay, but you can't allow those kind of things to happen.
We talk so often, Panda, and as we bring Kenobi back into the conversation, when we were watching 3-3 all the time, it was all about making sure you're using your support ultimates at the exact right time. You have direct counters when you're rocking a Transcendence or a Sound Barrier. Right now in this meta, hold Transcendence until you see the Blizzard. That's the one counter, and they don't do it, and that's the one costly mistake that turns the map in favor of LGE and Huya.
Yeah, that was a really unfortunate situation at the end there from Farway that he, Panda went over it a little bit, how he had the trance, and then at that point, Kami, you just have your eyes light up. It's like trance is gone. This is the freest Blizzard I'm going to have in my life. Doesn't get the greatest value in terms of freezing people, but it does zone them off and move them into a different position where the rest of LGE Huya is able to follow up on. But one of the things that which is really funny that I saw in this matchup was Hero Chess is for LGE their best thing right now, because twice, first on Lighthouse and then the second time on Ruins, Team CC had to go back and switch based on the composition that LGE was running. And they always, on Lighthouse, they took control of the point, 100-0. And on this point, they got 92% before Team CC was even able to recoup and get back onto the point, as we're going to be seeing our replay package here. But that's the thing with the side of Team CC that we talked about, is that with LGE, you just know what you're going to play all the time. It's going to be Merit on either a sniper or a hit scan, and then Kami's going to be on Mei every time. So if you're Team CC, why are you bringing out Farah at this point? Merit at this point, he's winning the 1v1 against Bunny, and Bunny's getting a ton of resources too. Bunny on Lighthouse or on Ruins, they're parking everything. Orisa shield, everything is made to make Bunny look better, and he's still not winning the 1v1, because then if you're putting all your resources into Bunny, Kami's just coming around with Mei. Oh, my ice gun pierces now. I'm just going to freeze all of you. You're all dead. I have Blizzard already in the first 10 seconds of this fight. It's very easy for them. So Team CC, I think, really needs to have a better read on what LGE is doing. And now they have this map where they say, okay, now we know that Team CC is going to be playing, or LGE is going to be playing Mei. They're going to be playing this Merit on hit scanner on Hanzo. We need to really make our composition work based on that. We can't go back and switch like we were.
I foresee this being a continuous conversation for us in the near future.
Agree.
Resource management, Team CC, do you have it? We need to see more of it, because League on Esports and Huya, they look at this like an open buffet, and they are just feasting right now, and you have to be concerned if you're a Team CC fan.
There's a lot of instances so far where it feels like Team CC's trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. Will that change as we come back for the assault? We'll find out just after this. Hello, friends. Welcome back. IHOLDSHIFT, Panda. We've got ourselves a good one bit up here because it is the grand finals. It couldn't be bad. It has to be good. It's LGE and Huya going up against Team CC after a lengthy style on Ilios. We'll be heading to Temple of Anubis. And again, these are where question marks start to surface when it comes to what do you run right out of the get-go here for Team CC, because They had the chance to pick this map here, Panda, and so far we've seen that again. Maybe their biggest enemy is not necessarily LG and Huya, but possibly their own minds as they're looking to come out of spawn with something a little bit maybe feisty here.
I don't see why you wouldn't have JWJ on anything else. You're going to have the Widowmaker to scout things out. See your hand if you're playing the defensive side, which, again, if you're LG and Huya, why wouldn't you play anything different? They're going to make me eat my socks for breakfast here. Lensa, defensive Brigitte, and I like that because you scout out Team CC, you see that they like to play the Genji here, and that makes JWJ pull out in a Fritz, who was already in the spawn, swap from the far over to the Genji, but they're just going to find value, or try to find value, rather, in a dive composition. Well, I'm sorry, Fearless, you're diving into a Mei and a Brigitte. You're going to have to think twice about that, friend.
It just really feels like another opportunity where it has to be Bunny to find a first pick. You get the numbers and then maybe you dive, although maybe you're eating your socks, I'm eating my shoes. Here is Fearless, jumps right back in. JWJ looking for an opportunity to get there, but again, you can just see how timid he's being, looking for an opportunity to maybe find some damage to farm up this blade. He will find the Widow in the backline, but again, you see he gets absolutely punished. Langsa with the shield pass. Fearless tries to follow up, and LGE Sports and Huya are sitting here saying, we're not interested in your cheeky strats. We're going with the tried and true, and so far it's working.
I don't know why you still trying to find value. You know, as silly as it may be, like, Pharah would actually find more value than the Genji. Winston as well finds little to no value. I talked about the Mei, I talked about the Brigitte, but what about J-Mac on this Orisa? How the heck are you gonna dive in Orisa? It does not happen. Team CC taking whole swaps across the board, gonna go back over to the Pharah. Like I said, finding a little more value. Bunny, keeping their head tucked down low, so that way the headshot is a little bit difficult to find for Marin, who pops the infrared side. Lingan Esports and Huya are ahead in the ultimate economy. Team CC are still looking for their opening.
This is just, again, so much time off the clock just because Team CC wanted to try something and immediately doesn't work. So now you're just over 2 minutes and change, and Supercharger's down, but there it is, Bunny. Opening pick, 6v5. Merritt, can you respond back? He's going to get jumped on by Fearless. Will be slept as Bunny for a small moment, looking for the Valkyrie in. Whoa, look at this. It's actually a nano boost being put onto Merritt. Not sure if that was the intended target or not. Fearless in the primal rage, trying to keep himself in the back line. Self-destruct sequence will come up as he fades away. Team CC, though, even though they're making a little bit of progress moving forward, they're not quite able to touch the point. Bunny coming back, though, and making sure Merritt isn't able to get that mega pack. So now JWJ, without the threat of the Widow being here, looking to get a little bit more aggressive. The Blizzard on the outside part of the point isn't really going to be able to lock down much. They do find the Valve Carrier and the Mercy, but again, I'm just waiting to see what value JWJ is going to be able to get on this far, and the answer is none at all. He had so many opportunities, Panda, but not able to convert the damage into any kind of eliminations.
They had numbers, and they didn't even find a single tick. We're down to 1 minute, Team CC. You're going to have to show some stronger hands here, and you cycle through all of your ultimates as well. JWJ is going to have the barrage. That's your only play here, that you have to keep JWJ to find one, if not two, with Lingan Esports and Huya, who are about to have the Supercharger on top of a bomb in the middle of this fight. Infrared Sight's going to be here, so Bunny's going to have to keep their head tucked down low one more time. But you killed Kami. You eliminated the Mei immediately when you walked into this point, and Team CC still couldn't take this point.
Now LGE.Sports and Huya with the Supercharger, and you can see Team CC not interested in playing in this. Halting back in Fearless to the mix. Not going to be able to get him fully into the grinder, so that Gorilla Meat will live for now. But again, we're just waiting for Team CC to pull the trigger on something. Merritt is caught without a paddle up a creek, and he will be taken down. And now all of a sudden, again, without the threat of the Widow being here, can JWJ finally pop off and find that kind of consistency that we've come to know, and for some of us, come to love when it comes to his Pharah? Maybe not even needed as the regular rockets are doing the trick. He's going to likely hold on to this barrage for a little bit longer. Self-destruct sequence is thrown out, and Fearless will fall. So LGE.Sports, they might just be able to find their way through. Now JWJ says, I need to pull the barrage up, and he will be able to get it going. But again, this has taken so much time. They will capture A, but it's not before it gets done in overtime.
That bubble placement from Fearless was a little questionable. Put the bubble, but the bomb is still inside of it, so will be eliminated. Still has the Primal Rage. Tank ultimates are the only thing that Team CC is really going to find impact on the second point. JWJ walking in here on the Pharah is going to be okay because Merritt's now on to the Sombra. You're going to be able to try to feast onto this backline a little bit cleanly. Langza might be hanging around a little bit too long on this Brigitte. Let's have the rally available. Going to be looked to finding an impact on this fight specifically and taking a swap. It's kind of really hard to find value in Brigitte when you're being sniped away and being zoned out by rockets, but it's all for Fearless to see he gets stunned up.
Molly does throw out the Nano Boost for JMac as well. Not even close to a Primal Rage as his counterpart in Fearless has already let it rip, so JMac will fall. Is this the opening that Team CC need?
The Blizzard got
Trying to
eaten!
counter is the Blizzard, but it gets eaten, like you mentioned. Sia, a big play there as he not only finds the main frontliner, but also the Blizzard carry of Kami, and that will be also elimination to follow up on the back end. Now for LGE, they're already making some swaps to some desperate heroes. The Doomfist is getting swapped over to Kami. Merit doing what they can with a couple of hacks, but is there enough pressure? You would think probably not as the first tick of B comes through. This EMP needs to come out. 75% Kami trying to distract, but he gets biotic grenaded and not able to find anything with it. So big numbers, but you have to be able to find the target prioritization if you're Team CC. It looks like they will be able to do so as they take care of most of the front line, just up to Diva to stay alive. And as the defense pitcher comes through, the EMP will follow, but there's just no follow-up whatsoever for LGE while they're here. Bunny able to find another Kami doing what he can on the respawn, but it's just not enough. Team CC will likely at least find the second tick as they're continuing to fight back the spawns.
That elimination onto Bunny might actually find value just because it's less pressure that the backline has to be concerned with. Good sleep dart on the Fearless as they're getting closer to this Primal Rage. Merit over to the Reaper now also goes down. Sia is having a hell of a second point.
And Kami's able to find a rocket punch into Mizuki, so just like that, with the Mercy dropping, will there be enough sustain here for Team CC to continue to fight? They seem to want to as Fearless pops yet another Primal Rage. Does get shield bashed. She's trying to make life a living hell for the Brigitte, but has to eventually back away. And how about that? It will be a sustained hold on the second tick of progress for LGE.
7 ultimates. 7 ultimates were used from Team CC in that second point where Lingon Esports and Huya take wholesome swaps, and it's the Doomfist, Kami, finding value in the Doomfist to find Bunny, and then Mizuki. Those are the 2 key impacts that you have to be able to find. And you saw the moment that Bunny went down is when they started finding bigger footing. Not even a second tick of progress, 60.3% gain, and we're in last fight territory. Team CC are taking swaps across the board. Mizuki comes back on the Lucio, goes back to swap to Mercy, where Bunny's now on the McCree to deal with the different targets that Lingon Esports and Huya are on. They're gonna have a Death Blossom. They're gonna have a Meteor Strike.
But Merit, very low, has to go into the Wraith Walk, will step away. Just comes down to will he even find an opportunity. Shadow step up top from the top rope. He'll zone off the back line though. You need to be able to capitalize on these frontliners. And how about this? Kami gets his way through. Now the Meteor Strike will take down the Ana. And LGE, off of a desperate couple of swaps, will make the comp work. And they will start to fade everybody away. The second tick of progress stalled out. Team CC, you mentioned it. The kitchen sink, the front door, both windows thrown at the mix and not able to break through the house that is LGE's defense on point B.
They forgot the sledgehammer. Yeah, that's all you need, right? Like you gotta be able to break through everything. You gotta be able to account for everything. The focus fire slipped up, and so did Team CC, unable to even get the second tick of progress.
Well, Kenobi, you had a lot of time to sit back and watch that one. Give me your thoughts just really quickly as you switch the sides.
LG is so smart. Actually, I love this Brigitte pick at the start. This is the hardest read I think I've ever seen in Chinese contenders. We're like, all right, JWJ for sure gonna run Genji. It is Anubis. It's the map that they run Genji mostly on. They pick this Brigitte. Genji gets no value for about 2 minutes. Now, the fact that Team CC eventually swapped is really good because I've known Chinese teams sometimes to just say, we're just going to wait till Nano Blade and then we're going to switch. But JWJ does the smart thing and switches eventually. And I don't think, if it's not for Sia and Fearless at this point, I don't even think they capped that first point because they really pulled Team CC's feet out of the fire. Fearless was able to get into the back line with a lot of disruption from the Primal Rage. Sia had a huge eat as well on Kami's Blizzard because I don't even think they would have gotten a tick. And that tick that they ended up getting on second could be very important, but man, LG is looking like they have a complete read right now on the entirety of Team CC, and it's looking very good for them right now.
And again, just making the desperate swaps work. How about that? We don't see a lot of it, but keeping the Doomfist and finding value.
The Kami Fist? The Kami Fist is a thing, man. It works. It is a thing. We've seen it.
Scares the living hell out of me, I'm telling you.
Well, we'll swap back the sides. We'll catch up with Kenobi after the map comes through. Panda, now, all of a sudden, if you're Team CC, take a look at this defensive setup, and what are your thoughts on this?
Again, the biggest scout of the lifetime. I mean, the Widow and Genji, you asked me 3 seasons ago. Sure, why not? You go for it, but Team CC are just struggling on trying to find what the competition that works. Whether it works for you in scrims or not, I don't care. Lingon Esports and Huya, they're just gonna go what we call a standard composition on this patch, which is the hold combo. Later, Fearless, you get hulked, you get hooked, you dead.
And now all of a sudden, again, it is a slow journey. It's a battle of inches, not miles here for this composition, but they will make their way through the archway. Still 6v5. And again, just waiting to set themselves up. And Team CC, you really do not want to give this up, but maybe you have to, as Sven throws out the left hook quite literally and takes down Bunny. And now it's the desperate swap for Fearless, and well, he's not going to have any support here with him because Sia also drops away. Although Sven will get slept. JWJ, any heroics in the tank? The answer, no. 0.8, already capped. Just under 6 minutes to capture 2 ticks of progress.
This is new to CP. This is new Assault round, where you don't get as much time for capturing the point, and they still got close to 6 minutes. That's crazy. Team CC are going to be able to get the respawns coming through because of the new Assault spawn variant. JWJ has had enough. He's going to pull out his own gauntlet on defense. Pulls out the Doomfist. Bunny staying on the Tracer. Fearless reset the ultimate economy. Bunny having mixed personalities coming back out on the Hanzo. Fearless resetting the ultimate economy again. Still getting 40% of ultimate charge. He's trying to catch up to LGE.Huya and Huya, who have the amp field, and they pull out the Dragon Strike to open up this fight.
Dragon Strike, like you mentioned, comes on through right down Main Street. Amplification Matrix also there and support Bunny. You really feel like he needs to get a pick if there's any hope for Team CC to hold on to this. But, of course, we say that, and now, without any ultimates left, can you even break through the front door here for LGE.Huya? They're taking their time, waiting potentially for this Transcendence to come online, maybe also the whole Hog. You feel that that combination might be good enough to start zoning back Team CC. Clearing out the back room is Sven, able to get a pull. That's going to keep, well, most of Diva out of the way, but JWJ has found his way into Merit, and this whole Hog is not really finding the zoning capabilities that I think you really wanted if you were LGE. Bunny up top, still completely uncontested, and it's already 1 tick of progress plus a little bit extra, and they just need to get to that 61% mark. And now as the Blizzard is starting to come through, and well, does it actually not get all the way out? Because I think Kami actually fell before he could finally get the challenge through. So just like that, what looked to be win condition for LGE turns into a soft reset.
It's a very, whether it was meant to or not, very key pick. Kami's going to go for the 1v1. Nope. Back to the Mei after missing the chance on the Blizzard, but Team CC, I mean, you're playing with fire here, man. It's not even a second tick of progress that you need. 49.9% gain. And again, not even a full second tick needed to lose this map. The win condition is still here, though. Team CC, They do have the self-destruct. Another nano boost has been gained. And they do have the Meteor Strike, so Molly has to keep their head clear, and Lanza needs to make sure that this Immortality field is utilized at the proper moment. Team CC have yet to be able to play, or have even shown that they want to play the Orisa Hog composition, as Sia still looks to find value in the defense matrix. Still very good ability, it just only goes 10 meters at this point.
And again, you're just kind of looking at this for LGE saying, we need to wait for our Transcendence and our Blizzard to come up before we can fully do anything. And maybe they'll give it a good old college try here, as Langston will throw out the Amplification Matrix, but Mizuki will find his counterpart pretty quickly. In the back line, JWJ, big old rocket fist into the back, and he'll take down both Merit and Molly. And that might just be enough here, as Sven is trying to do a little bit of consolation work, maybe trying to find some silver linings. Misses the hook. Will have to hit the self-heal, but he will eventually fall. You mentioned it, the lunge, the wall climb, looking like a parkour fiesta here for Buddy. And once again, Team CC able to battle back.
You can tell Buddy spent a lot of time with the workshop modes, playing a lot of Hanzo parkour, that's for sure. You know, LGE.Huya and Huya, though, I definitely disagree with the usage of their resources, the amplification field. I mean, sure, you're trying to pull out resources for Team CC, but what resources are you trying to possibly gain? They can use the terrain of the map just to hide themselves in the cubby behind the boxes over by the spawn room. LGE.Huya and Huya now, they take their own Diva, and Sven has been getting better at Diva throughout the entirety of the season. Leading up into yesterday's semifinal, looked very good on this pick as well. Team CC, however, they have a bed full of ultimates to be utilizing.
Oh, goodness, Bunny almost took care of that Immortality field right as the Dragon Strike almost finished a couple. JWJ, once again, you see him putting the pressure onto J-Mac, who did get separated away from his team as he fell down to that bottom cubby, and well, now all of a sudden, just a little bit over 2 minutes. The only fortunate thing about that for LGE was that they didn't use any ultimates. They did get the dragons out, but again, you're still waiting for that one opportunity to hit the gas pedal, hit Q together, and maybe find that last tick of progress you need.
All right, take back what I said, Bunny. Having a hard time there, climbing the wall, but, you know, LGE.Huya and Huya, they do have the DPS ultimates. Support ultimates as well. We'll have another supercharger. They are stacking everything to throw out here against Team CC. It's not even a full tick of progress that they need. JWJ has been holding on to this Meteor Strike, what feels like a century at this point. 2 more fights, essentially, in the clock.
JWJ is able to find himself into the back line. He's getting bullied, though. The Dragon Strike that came through earlier, the Blizzard also on the point, but it's just the Meteor Strike for JWJ looking for a way to get on out. He will get himself back into the back line. Needs to get back to full HP, though. So this will be a little bit of extra pressure, and JWJ is able to take down Molly right as the Transcendence fades away, and that will be another stalwart hold for Team CC, and now all of a sudden, it's just a minute and 10 seconds they have to hold on to, and LGE do not have any ultimates to break the front door with.
This is last fight territory. Absolutely last fight territory. You have such a long walk from the spawn room on second point. Whole swaps coming across the board. Molly over to the Ana. Langza over to the Lucio with Merit. Now onto the Reaper. This is the standard composition that we see more often than not besides Molly on the Ana. Gonna try to find frontal pressure onto the shield of Fearless and basically, again, put Sia into overdrive mode, who's about to have another self-destruct, but Team CC, they're only going to have the Dragon Strike available to self-destruct as well. Far away, if they stay alive here, might get a Transcendence, but LGE.Huya and Huya, they already throw down a Supercharger. That's the only play that they had.
Oh, but Molly falls. That's a lot of sustain already gone. The Dragon Strike puts right through the front door, and that's going to zone everybody away and finds two. It was a death ball that was attempted for LGE for the last-ditch effort, and it gets shut down by Bunny. And now with 15 seconds, you just got to make desperate swaps and hope that something magical gets put together for you.
Sonic Arrow is going to be able to find Sven in the cubby right outside of the archway of second point. J-Mac has to swap over to the Hamster just to get to the point in time. Touches it, but not with enough time available. Sven has to get there in time, just barely.
Tries to stay alive, but again, it's just the Bunny Blaster in hand, and that's not going to be enough. Team CC... I don't know if many people would say they deserve to win that map, but they still eke out the win. And my mind, first and foremost, as we bring back in Kenobi, comes down to, again, it was that one single Blizzard that it didn't look like it fully came out. The channel was there, and it looked like Kami was taken down before he was fully able to get the ultimate off. And maybe that was all that was needed for Team CC because there was never any solid connections for LGE after that.
Yeah, I think if that Blizzard hits, there's definitely a possibility that they're very easily able to just take that. It's not even really a tick. It's like 2/3 of a tick. So they probably could have gotten it at the end. But I'm actually very impressed with Team CC on this defense. Like, you got rolled completely on first because of some really nice halt hooks coming out from Sven and J-Mac. But the fact that I really like that JWJ switched to Doom. JWJ is a legacy Doomfist player, right? Way back when he was on like Vici Gaming. That's a name that some people might not know. Way back, like that's way back in the day. That's like 2017 when he was on that team. He was a Doomfist player as well. And the way that they were playing Doomfist, I actually really enjoyed because LGE has always struggled with Doomfist, right?
Yeah.
Throughout like in quarterfinals, Micha almost solo carried T1W past LGE here. And the way that they were playing Doomfist, their goal was, we're playing for trades every time. You saw JWJ taking long flanks towards the back line, long flanks on the side, saying, as long as we trade, we have respawn advantage. That's the best for us, especially if he's getting Molly, he's getting the Langsa on the Baptiste, if he's getting a DPS player. Just trades like that, and the way that they were playing it was very smart. And I think this pick from them was really what propelled them over the edge.
I think what you're mostly looking at as well is just proper team play coming through. You take a look at some of these highlights all together. You talked about the halt hook combo. You talked about just like good shot altogether from Bunny to cancel the channeling onto Kami. But this isn't without just proper team play. You wouldn't be able to find these off angles if you're Bunny. You wouldn't be able to find this backline pressure if you're JWJ if the tanks of Fearless and Sia are playing properly. Same thing for J-Mac and Sven. I talked about how this is going to be the DPS show, but I'm looking at the tanks here, guys. These two sets of tanks are finding tremendous value in continuously putting down the pressure and allowing the team's DPS to be able to find what they're looking for. This is proper team play in a nutshell, and you can see it coming through from both ends.
Well, maybe Team CC sneaking one away there from LGE, but regardless, we're tied up one map apiece. When we come back, it'll be the hybrid just after this. You're not going to want to miss it. This is the Chinese Overwatch Grand Finals. Hello, you. It's us. IHOLDSHIFT. Panda, we're back. We've got map 3 coming up. Panda, it's Hollywood. And I won't lie to you. You know, some of my subtle concerns are that Team CC on their offense or even on their defense will just come out with just the wrong composition when it comes into the phase of the LGE, who just look like they're more prepared for Team CC at this moment, even though they did lose Anubis. You might call it a fluke or whatever, but regardless, the fact it's Team CC who really kind of feel like compositionally and just as far as the spawn doors go, they're just a little bit behind the ball as far as what they want to play.
You say a fluke. If you call it a fluke, well, you're lying to yourself. I'm not going to lie. I mean, Team CC played that map wonderfully, and it's kind of an interesting pick for LGE and Huya to pick this map because, I mean, last time you and I casted LGE.Huya was when they were facing Phantom Wizard, which, well, you know, if you haven't seen that match, well, they got full out here. So they're going to be on their defensive side first. They're going to be playing a little bit more of a standard composition. They're done playing these games. For Team CC, they recognize the composition being played. Bunny out of the Hanzo. JWJ here comes on the Pharah. Could find value as well as they look to be pressuring every one of the members of LGE.Huya out of the cafe. And, well, LGE.Huya, they look a little lost on where they wanted to be set up.
Again, it's one of those things, though. This is a battle of the trenches where you're just looking at barrier and ice walls. Barriers and ice walls. Bunny, though, first blood onto J-Mac, which will open things up very nicely. Sven also falls, and just like that, Team CC, a lot of low health pools, so unless Merit can go huge, there is potential to clean up, but again, no frontliners here for LGE, and that will likely be Team CC just cleaning up the rest of the pieces that are around, and likely will also result in all of the captured A coming through.
Was almost expecting a swap to come through from Merit on top of Sven, but it's a really good swap nevertheless. Giving up the hook combo, getting a defensive matrix to try to negate some of the pressure that's being found from all these projectiles that are coming through, both from JWJ and Bunny. But you don't give up the Dragon Strike, which is really, really wise. Kami has a Blizzard available going into this next fight, so they could hold close, but it looks like one of the members got staggered off as far as respawns are concerned. The TCC are going to be able to get it through the gate, so here comes the Amplification Matrix. Interesting use of the wall because the amp field was used.
Yeah,
LGE.Huya are looking a little pressured.
Team CC, though, will just back away, although not able to fully back away as JWJ, as Merit finds a stray headshot onto him. Will force out the res from the Mercy. Bunny, again, an angle right here. We'll say, let's go Dragon for Dragon, Strike for Trike, and now JWJ, potential to open up with a barrage, but it's going to be, well, a jumping icicle as Farway tries to get away, but Kami's Blizzard will lock him into place before he can get those rocket boots on up. And just like that, now Team C completely split apart. They realize they have the Diva away from the team. Just comes down to will they actually find him before he can get back towards their team? Looks like the answer will be no. And Team CC will make the swap from Bunny onto the Ashe.
It's a comfort pick, for sure. And, well, last time that Team CC were here, this was kind of the opening that I started seeing Bunny just playing a whole lot of Ashe. Finds a lot of comfort, and it's all for spacing and for the sniper warfare coming through. Dragon Strike didn't find tremendous value, but how about a headshot to the head?
And that's the supercharger that was also used for Team CC. They were looking at the gas pedal, and now all of a sudden they can't. Bunny will get rezzed up, but the supercharger just about faded away. Now the Amplification Matrix is here. Barrage right into the face of what looked to be, at one point in time, an immortality field, but it looks like the damage was enough to at least allow Bunny and Sia to combine as the self-destruct sequence finds two. Now the dynamite overhead, a lot of burn damage coming through. Bunny looking to close things up, but again, the shield is here, and there's not a lot of shield breaks, so now he'll have to go to the reload mode, which, like you mentioned, is essentially a pause button on the Ashe for the next 5 seconds. Merit doing what they can to stay alive and put some counter poke back into the side of Team CC, but for now, both teams will soft reset as a little bit of progress is being made for CC.
You don't really find tremendous pressure as Ashe until the TNT comes out, but when you use both your support ultimates, that makes Bunny an absolute madman. The double kill coming through from the TNT, and that's exactly where you find the value in Ashe. The TNT finds tremendous value, and you can pressure out so many corners just like that.
And again, with the support line of just having the Baptiste with Molly on the Zenyatta, you wonder if there's just not enough overall burst healing to deal with the TNT to make sure everyone can stay full. Team CC will find themselves completing the second point, and now with plenty of time to work for the third, they also have ultimates to potentially hit the gas pedal with.
You only have 12 shots inside what essentially would be a grenade shooter for the healing part of Baptiste's gun, so you really got to be wise with how you utilize them. And well, we see different Baptistes having a struggle with that. You see Molly getting hit with the TNT, getting healed away from Lengsa. Lingon Esports and Huya swapping over to the Widowmaker to try to deal with JWJ directly. Bunny has a Bob available.
This comes down to what will come first. Molly with the Transcendence. Merit finds opening first blood onto the Baptiste, and Molly with another one on the Bunny, and that's both really kind of big characters taken away. No sustained healing, no sustained damage, and Team CC are forced to retreat and wait for the respawns to come through.
Oh, JWJ, do you stay on this barrage? Probably not at this point. I'm gonna be joining their DPS counterpart into a what essentially would be a double sniper, I suppose. Gonna have tank ultimates across the board.
Look for a scope, why not?
Yeah, you know, a holographic sight, a scope, why not? You know, it's Team CC gonna have a halt bomb combo coming into this next fight. Merit immediately because of the spawn advantage that the defensive side has over to the Hanzo to match JWJ.
Bob comes through, no ice wall here as it was just previously used, but there is a blizzard which does come down. Bob melted and then frozen as well as the rest of the team, and well, it's looking like a winter wonderland here in the streets of Hollywood, as that'll be everybody frozen up and taken down. Full team wipe coming out for LGE.
Oh, utilizing the blizzard, not allowing Merit to gain any sort of ultimate charge. How dare you, Kami? Molly also had to use the Transcendence. Team CC staying on this Ashe could be more of a bite in their rear than it could actually be a bite into LGE.Huya's front line. Utilizing the Supercharger at the same time, they still have the Halt Bomb combo. Mizuki onto the Baptiste, looking very strong. Gonna have an amp field. They have both their support ultimates online as well. Great use of the Immortality field to poke around the corner.
Everybody's low, so again, even though the Immortality field's keeping them alive, it's not really giving them the health they need. Self-destruct sequence. Oh yeah, hold on to your seats there, friends, as both of those explosive self-destructs will come through, not really finding much besides a little bit of zoning. Team CC now having to battle up against the Supercharger. Bunny, again, just so much damage. You can hear it ticking away. Now he's got another Bob amplification. Matrix is there, blocked by an ice wall. Dragon Strike comes right through the front door, and Lengtha sits there and just accepts it, but JMac is not able to stay alive. So without the shield here for LGE, can they even hold this? Bob comes up with the Dragon Strike right on through, and that's actually not only the Immortality field, but also the Transcendence being popped, and you wonder if there's maybe too much of a committal there for Team CC, because LGE should be able to come right back in at the desperate swap for JMac, but oh, there's just a lot of damage coming through. Bunny really making his presence felt, as he will find more damage with the TNT. Blizzard will try to come out, and well, it might freeze a couple of players, but it's not enough to stop the payload as a whole. It's going to be down to just the desperate swap for Merit onto the Tracer. Back to the point is JMac, and he's very close actually to potentially getting a minefield. 50% already on only 2 lives, which are very abbreviated, but he will fall once again. And it's looking like with the Supercharger, Team CC just needs to find the target prioritization, which it looks like they probably should. And well, now just the Transcendence. Last thing left for Molly. Not enough. Team CC will complete the map.
You thought 3 tanks didn't exist anymore, did you? Well, Bunny has a couple words for you. Throwing the Bob out, utilizing them as a robotic shield. Great usage of that ultimate as well, as it got halted by a wall from Kami. But again, we look at ultimate economy. We look at how you're finding value in said ultimates as well. Team CC are playing very reactionary, where you look at Lingon Esports and Huya. Well, again, it's just the nature of any hybrid map in a way that you start losing footing, you start to lose your footing, and you have to start utilizing more and more ultimates to come out, and you can't play as reactionary. It's very, very unfortunate in a way when you look at it.
You're going with all these loose footing things, and I'm just thinking, you know, in this one,
feeling like a dance mate?
Who's Kevin Bacon in this scenario?
It's Bunny. It's Bunny.
It has to be Bunny,
absolutely
right?
The main character. I mean, we're seeing Bunny only playing Ashe all the way into the 3rd point. And that's just impressive to me. I'm not going to lie. I mean, you don't really see Ashe being played all the way up to the Overwatch League, but here in Chinese Contenders, I mean, even our analyst for the day, Kenobi, has even said when Bunny first popped up on the scene, Bunny out here smurfing, and he's able to sit here and play the Ashe and find tremendous value. When you see Sven on the Diva, who's looking to use Defense Matrix to eat the halts instead of the TNT, that's a misplay, friends. That's exactly what you should be using the Defense Matrix for, because you see the TNT, it's pulling out tremendous amount of resources from your supports, and you can't allow that to happen. And when you lose all of those resources, Alan, you start to lose positioning. And when you lose both of those, well, you lose the map. And you gotta be careful.
Well, we'll see what happens this time around. Bunny will come out onto the main to start. JWJ on the McCree. So this is another different look here for Team CC, the 2-2-2 hard locks. And well, LGE, we've seen it, we know it. You're still deciding whether or not you love it. This comes down to how often these halt hook combinations come through. The ice wall will just say, nope, you're not going to sit in this top cafe and get free damage on us. And that will be enough to actually allow LGE to move around the back. Again, just looking to put pressure onto this cafe. We'll be met by Bunny's ice wall as well, but it's a big cooldown kind of expended, and you can see the big highlight here. Hanzo up top, Merit finding a lot of damage, forces the ice block for Bunny. 1 second progress might just come through, pulled into danger is the Maeve. Very nice timing there from Sven, and JWJ is able to take down coming from behind, fanning the hammer, plus a little bit of a stun coming through. But again, Molly and Merit able to get the job done damage-wise. Awkward 1v1, Sia able to take it, but again, the frontline pressure likely too much for that of just a pilot Diva, and LGE very quickly will be able to capture point A.
you just shouldn't lose that fight if you're Team CC. I mean, you put Sia on the point to try to anchor out a little bit, but it's just a big mispositioning as far as Team CC are concerned. And you see the problem with Team CC and why you never really see them play much of the Mei Hanzo or the Mei Widowmaker is because their GPS duo in between Buddy and JWJ, they have a very interesting style on their hero selection screen on what they should be playing. Bunny plays the Mei that time. JWJ is a better Hanzo than Bunny, but then the Mei is in between both of them. But JWJ's Mei is definitely more consistent. League on Esports and Huya looking for consistency across the board as they unlock the point on the first fight, have over 5 minutes initially on the capture, and the ultimate economy to boot.
Yeah, the ultimate economy is absolutely massive. Amplification Matrix trying to get them through the ammunitions and saloon area of this street's phase. Dragon Strike will zone out the backstaging area as well. LGE getting a lot of progress on this payload. They do use a couple of ultimates, but I think you'll take that every day as you're able to get this payload in a pretty solid spot. Amplification Matrix from Mizuki, but you can see LGE not interested in playing into it. Will just back away and say, we'll let that fade away, and then we'll recontest. They still have a Transcendence. The Supercharger also being utilized. Hold hook, JWJ, he's able to survive. Absolutely insane immortality field plays from Mizuki, but it does also force out the Transcendence. It just comes down to, can Kami get this Blizzard in time? Buddy says make it a 7v6, TNT over the top, and well, it looks like with Bob in the backline, that will actually force LGE away. Great play from Team CC to hold.
Oh my god, that immortality field was
clutch as heck, dude.
Yeah, it was absolutely massive. They do get the Supercharger out. Not that it's the most impactful ultimate as it just gets zoned away, but pulling the whole hog, Sven? For real? Might end up seeing a Diva swap coming out from Sven, which would be the smarter pick. Again, the defense matrix usage has to be there for the TNT, and you see Sven doing just that. DPS ultimates are on the board, but League on Esports and Huya, they also have the amplification field as well. But Team CC, they have zoning ultimates. They have their own field, they have their own self-destruct, and they have the Dragon Strike available. We're down to 3 minutes and 20 seconds, where again, League on Esports and Huya had about 5 minutes to be pushing the second point, and they're getting zoned here, Alan.
And Farway's done a really great job to find extra damage. He's already 75% to another Transcendence. He just used it in the last fight. Links up, Amplification Matrix. Mizuki says, let's bring it on. Dragon Strike right down Main Street. We'll take down JWJ. And without that damage being here, can Team CC, can they hold on to this? Sia in a lot of trouble as well. We'll have to back all the way up. Self-destruct sequence was able to find a little bit of value as well, but there's still a Blizzard, and Merritt, he's going to be putting in an overdrive as he's able to take down Faraway. And well, I mentioned that Transcendence, it won't come out to play here, and this will likely be just about it. The Sonic Arrow going into the back of Sia, and the second stage completed.
Yeah, it's funny. Sia being chased out there, and run, little bunny, run, says Merritt. And League on Esports and Huya, again, winning that fight essentially off of nothing. We'll have a 6-pack of ultimates walking in here, essentially away from the defense, away from the self-destruct from Sven. 3 minutes and 45 on the clock for League on Esports and Huya to find value.
No.
Kami, on the right click, you see Bunny just looking around, just like, wait, how'd you die, brother? Why were you peeking that? They have a sniper. They have an ice pick that has no damage follow-up whatsoever. Why would you peek that whatsoever? You already have Transcendence, Team CC. Why would you be doing that far away? But who also are going to be pushing themselves into a last fight territory. You have to be careful on this map, so they have to use the Dragon Strike just to zone League on Esports and buy themselves some time.
Amplification Matrix for LGE. Transcendence forced out again, and the Blizzard is still being held onto by Kami. You can almost feel him foaming at the mouth, looking for a Blizzard to come on through without any kind of a counter whatsoever. Mizuki has almost another Amplification Matrix coming back through. Supercharger out though for LG, looking to put the nail in the coffin on this push. Here comes the Blizzard. It'll zone away the backline, forcing everybody away, and Fearless, he'll actually be taken down because of it. And why was that Transcendence popped so early again? You make me wonder. And LGE, they'll finish with an extra 2 minutes over the top of what Team CC were able to do previously. Oh, Kenobi, take it away before I lose my mind.
I'm also about to lose my mind shift because
mine's lost.
I have serious so the Transcendence, whatever. I have serious questions about this DPS rotation from Team CC. The Ashe, while it does have its pop-off moments, we saw Bunny getting a lot of value with TNT. Ashe is, besides that, really doesn't do much. There's really no shield break involved, especially against a Orisa. Like, you'd want maybe something else. They were playing the Hanzo with it sometimes, the Pharah with it sometimes, but Bob's not going to get value. We saw Kami at the end there. Bob was trying to go into the backline, walled, gets absolutely nothing. So And then, like, on first point, right, they're playing this different, they're putting JWJ on McCree, and then Bunny's on the Mei, which they've, Bunny and JWJ have intersected with their Mei choices before, but you got to really pick one. Like, obviously for LGE, there's the one Mei player. It's the best Mei player right now. It's Kami. Merit doesn't touch that hero. So for Team CC, you're losing because you're losing a lot of these fights early, and the time bank differential is shocking right now because with Ashe, basically what Team CC is doing, they're like, okay, just gonna wait for we're gonna wait for Bob, get dynamite damage, but they're not dying on the side of LGE and Huya, so the time bank differential, 3 minutes to 1 minute, that's a bit of a yikes, dog.
Well, we'll see exactly what will happen here. Maybe Scruff McGruff will come out for the police force and make something happen here on this first point. Doesn't make a difference, though. Again, only really one good attack here for Team CC, and they're going back to what feels comfortable. And how about this? JWJ, direct rocket into Molly, able to find the first blood. Maybe you can move aggressively here with a 6v5.
Yeah, and again, a great spawn rotation coming out, or a great hero selection coming out, but this is an attacker's favor, especially with the Pharah and the Hanzo, or even a sniper of some sort, whether it's the Widowmaker or the Ashe. Link on Esports and Huya, they're cool to be able to deal with them, but Merit's getting massively pressured out.
Merit, though, will find himself a roll into the double fan the hammer. Sven pull, able to find the beatdown on a Mizuki. Merit does drop, though. Again, you wonder, without the damage and support being here for Team CC, who's going to hold themselves on the point as a whole. Molly also falls, dealing with only a couple of bodies for each team. Barrage could come through. Oh, it gets blocked away by a barrier from J-Mac, not able to find any value, although Farway able to counter onto Kami. It's just down to the Hog and the Baptiste. We've seen this once before, though. Sven, whole Hog, can he find value? He's not able to contest. The self-destruct sequence comes out, and it's just down to who can get the respawns here faster. LGE, they almost have another high noon as well. As Merit, he'll be able to fully charge it. Do you pop this open? That's a lot of damage missing because the channel has to come through for so long. Molly also has a transcendence. It's back and forth. A tick and a half of progress already made, but Team CC are losing numbers quickly, and now it's the high noon coming out and no one can touch. It came down to like a 3v2 though, and it was about to go either way, but it will be held, but it's not without a tick and a half of progress coming through for Team CC.
That was amazing self-destruct. Although it didn't find any eliminations whatsoever, you allowed Mizuki to get the resurrection on JWJ, but you lost your win condition right then and there. Instead of going for the halt self-destruct, you used it to zone. Couldn't find any pulls with that one, unfortunately, but you lost all of your play and momentum with that Pharah barrage. Very unfortunate stuff. Immortality field came down. The barrier was still up as well. And that's just poor scouting coming out from Team CC. Poor resource control coming out from Team CC, which is, again, the same flavor that they tasted coming out from Control. They showcase yet again. They're not looking that great when the pressure's up against them. But Leon Esports and Huya, we've seen, especially in Chinese contenders, we can all attest to this, that they look great until they got to the showdown. That's where they looked their worst, when the pressure was against them. Yeah. They're trying to make us eat our words a little bit, as well as we know that they want to be able to make that gauntlet spot back, but the win condition's still there for Team CC. And we saw, even when a tick in some change was gained back on Anubis, our previous map, that Team CC were still able to hold for a certain amount of time, so that way they were able to win out that map. 51.4% needed for Lingon Esports and Huya to win out this map. One fight essentially only needed to win out this fight, where they did it in the first rotation of the attack. Team CC are going to be taking swaps to that double sniperish composition, utilizing the pressure of the halt to get yeeted onto the top of the building. There was Kami. You're not going to be taking any swaps, so why wouldn't you? You won the first fight, essentially on your first rotation attack with Team CC, trying to find more value in this Ashe and Bunny. You got to be very careful with this. You have to find value in the TNT.
Oh, man. Lingon Esports might just need to make their own shampoo bottle, because it's rinse, wash, lather, repeat on this halt hook. We saw it the first time. It comes out the second. And with Farway dropping, this is not looking good for Team CC. Fearless is trying to fortify and hold their ground, but again, it's going to take some kind of heroics, of which Bunny and JWJ able to find two. Big 1v1. Molly says, sit down. I don't care where you came from. I just care about where you're going, and that's back to spawn. Now numbers for LGE, but they still have a front line to deal with. And how about this, Team CC? They battle back.
Wow. Again, we were talking about the DPS in the pre-show. I'm bringing up these tanks, man, because Sia on this Diva has been absolutely impactful for Team CC. Great use of the defense matrix and positioning as well to keep Fearless alive. This is amazing to see because not Team CC, they have the ultimate economy. LGE.Esports and Huya are swapping up to a different look. They are being pressured out here, Alan. They have to use the wall to get onto the point, but Team CC, they have a lot more to be playing with.
Oh no. Sven's down, and I guess this is not the worst case scenario because Team CC did pop the supercharger. Unfortunately, you have time to play with, and Kami actually finds a pick on the bunny, so you don't necessarily have to retreat here if you're LGE. And Sven will just switch immediately over to the Diva. So if you can find maybe another pick, maybe they'll open things up. The Dragon Strike finds very little value. Amplification Matrix right on the corner. And Marin's able to find a kill on a Fearless. That might just be enough to open things up as the Dragon Strike comes in response to the Transcendence is already here. Looking for a way to put the nail in the coffin. Marin diving on forward. He's got the Storm Arrow. Doesn't make a difference. He's able to find the even kill on the Faraway. It's just down to Bob. And well, Bunny and Bob will not be able to do it as there will be likely the last tick of progress coming on in. Fearless is able to get there to touch, but it's not enough to win the point. And LGE, thankful for the time bank because they needed it.
I'm just, again, resource management, communication, Team CC. The heck was that Dragon Strike? Did you not know that they were over in the archway? Hello? Kenobi, I need your help here, brother, because like I have no idea what I'm looking at when it comes down to Team CC. Like this is just utterly confusing to me. The communication has to be going completely awry for this team.
Yeah, it's kind of like yesterday I mentioned one of the things I said during my cast, SpaghettiOs all over the floor.
All over the floor.
Everywhere for Team CC.
And they're not even alphabets.
Ultimate's going. So they're not even alphabets, but they're just like the meatball ones that are really bad. But like, I mean, so one of the things with their second attack for Team CC, I really don't want to see Faraway on Baptiste anymore at this point because Mizuki is clearly just 100 times better. It's not even close. Mizuki, I mean, even Mizuki clutched out that last fight where Panda was talking about the tanks. There was an amplification matrix right there that did a lot of the damage that helped the tanks survive there. And Mizuki with immortality field timings has been a lot better. Faraway is every time there's a hook, it's just a free kill for them. There's never an immortality field from Faraway that's helping those halt hook. And because they're not running a Mei as well, there's nothing else to stop it. So those immortality fields really have to be timed correctly, and when Faraway's on the Baptiste, it's just not working out. Mizuki looks a lot better on it, and I would prefer to see them run Mizuki more on the Baptiste, but then it's like another issue with their DPS. Like if JWJ is running Pharah, you have to play Mercy with it, and then you have to put Faraway on Baptiste. So the hero chests for Team CC really just not working out.
And I think the biggest thing is it feels like when Bunny is forced to play the Mei, it's literally that. Forced to play the Mei. It doesn't look like he wants to. I mean, he wants to be having these pop-off moments, and you just kind of wonder as you take a look back at some of these highlights if there's really an opportunity there for that to even work, because if you're not coming to battle with a Mei, JWJ obviously wants to stay in the Pharah. Is there just the simple fact that LGE just plays the current strongest meta better than Team CC, and there's just no response for it, Panda?
I mean, that's why it's the meta, right? It's one of the strongest compositions out there right now. You freeze targets, you shoot them in the face, you halt them out of existence, and you burst them down. That's why it's one of the strongest compositions. Can you find value on the Ashe? Sure, why not? You can go ahead and try. The TNT does find value, and it pressures them out. When you're on attack, absolutely. But when you're on defense, Ashe, again, you have to pause the game to reload here, fellas. You absolutely can't hold down that sightline for as long as a Widowmaker. I'm just confused.
Or like a Hanzo even, where it's like you're just sitting there like a shield break. You just gotta you have.
He doesn't even reload.
He just has infinite arrows, and then he has one ability that makes you shoot 5 arrows even faster. So like, I mean, the Ashe has its pop-off moments. We saw a lot of value from Dynamite, but Panda's right. I think it's just right now a battle between the meta and something that's just comfort picks. And right now the meta is coming out on top in a pretty big way. This could very easily be 3-0 LGE.Huya right now. Like Team CC, I think probably is very lucky to have come out of Anubis with that win if it wasn't for JWJ and Bunny just absolutely popping off with that tank line.
Well, coming out on top is LGE from map number 3, and also sitting on top of the map total. Again, it is 1st to 4. It's a 2-1 in the maps favoring that of LGE. When we come back, our pure escort just after this. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I hold shift with Panda. We are in the Chinese Contenders Grand Finals. LGE and Huya currently up, but we're setting things in the pure escort, and we are heading to the dusk scenery of Toronto. a lot of D's in there. I was actually going to throw another one in there, Panda, but I just did not trust my alliterative processes. So we jump into this one, and this is where I think the floor opens up a little bit more when it comes to Team CC. We kind of mentioned while we were just talking after the break about how maybe Team CC just not as prepared when it comes to LGE on the current top meta, but this is where fluctuation and flexibility can really potentially be cheeky enough for you to shine.
Me and Kenobi were even talking about here as well. Picking this map for Team CC, that's a comfort pick. You look at their composition, gonna basically make us eat our words. Not far out. Double sniper composition coming out from Team CC with the Baptiste and the Zenyatta, where they look to find a little bit more value versus Lingon Esports and Huya. But you pick this map if you're Team CC because May Reaper not as strong, May Hanzo even not as tough to break through until third point. So I'm looking for Team CC to find value in their sniper composition, where they and how they got here. Lingon Esports and Huya gonna be coming out with a double sniper as well for the defense. Team CC looking to pressure it out.
Just looking for the high ground here. Any advantage that Team CC can find. See LGE respecting it. Will back away into that middle fountain area. Again, really big. It comes down to who gets this first pick, or maybe even just a first ultimate. That might be all you need, as both teams will toggle around these market stalls. Halt comes up. No hook to follow. All teams still 6 on 6. Immortality field is enough to fortunately keep Fearless alive, who was dangerously low. And now it just comes down to, again, who's going to open things up in their favor first. Team CC, Amplification Matrix is there. Kami, though, Dragon Strike, sends it right down Main Street, plus the Storm Arrow from Kami, able to find Buddy. Now all of a sudden, the 6v5, and LGE, you can see they want to start getting aggressive. They pressure out the support and the front line, and Team CC forced to respawn.
These two teams battling over the taco stand. Name a more glorious stand to be fighting over.
I couldn't name one.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro. Like, fighting over tacos, essentially, and that's one of the best parts about Dorado. Team CC, however, specifically JWJ, a little bit behind as far as ultimate economy is concerned, but that's just how much value Kami's finding. Again, already at 25% and counting up, finding tremendous value with Storm Arrows to be able to build that Dragon Strike very quickly, as well as the defender's advantage being able to build their ultimates a little bit faster. Look at J-Max to find value in the supercharger right off the rip.
Looking for a way to just to stall out Team CC before they can finally come on through. And again, the Immortality field is able to come clutch. Molly nearly able to finish off an opponent. This barrage of Orbs of Destruction connecting for a lot of headshots. But again, Mizuki, we talked about the difference between him and Faraway on the Baptiste, and he's finding a lot of value. Faraway, though, forced once again. That's a very early Transcendence. There is no May here for that Blizzard, so it's just down to can Kami find that Dragon Strike? Throws it right in between the front and back line. The self-destruct sequence right over the top. A nice combination for LGE as they're setting themselves up well, but not maybe well enough to fully hold. Molly again, a barrage from downtown. Buddy, take a couple of these and call me in the morning.
God, Molly, these Orbs of Destruction, again, you take a look at the damage that's across the board for Lingon Esports and Huya. No damage fall off apart from Merit, and again, there it is, right there. Molly, you're insane. Merit, putting themselves on the board again. Team CC, again, we talk about comfort picks as far as maps are concerned, and Heroes Bunny going over to that Ash. Little lost here, Alan. Little lost. I'm not gonna, you know, it didn't find tremendous value apart from just spacing when we were on Hollywood. The TNT, because Lingon Esports are playing behind a shield, could find them to be pressured out, but look at these off angles that are being found. You're not going to be able to find value in Ash while Merit's playing up here in the window, and then you have Kami behind the shield. It's going to be tough. Team CC are going to look for a halt bomb combo just to gain this first capture point. We are in last fight territory.
Underneath 30 seconds, Supercharger put in a safe spot, but Kami finds first blood into JWJ. Formerly known as Jason, not in the fight, 6v5, and the Supercharger's almost feeling like a little bit of a waste now that you're missing your main damage dealer. Self-destruct sequence, trying to open things up. Immortality field does get taken down just before it explodes, and Kami is the first victim. So that elimination, can you find an opportunity to move on through? It just comes down to, again, Bunny forced to reload, not able to get a lot of damage through. We'll scope in, find J-Mac, plus one more. Nice headshot on the Lengsa, but again, it just comes down to, can you take care of Merit in the window? Not gonna make much of a difference. He's forced to grapple away, and it looks like with JWJ making the swap over to Genji, there will be enough pressure to maybe get this all the way through. One more contest, and Merit takes down Bunny. So again, is there enough damage here? Kami able to get here in time, looking for the rocket punch. Will be able to force one away from the payload. He's getting a lot of damage in, but this is enough to actually find a kill. The Immortality Field does a job for a small time. The Transcendence comes out from far away. Just comes down to what other clutch picks can you find it for LGE? Otherwise, Team CC have the numbers and the potential pressure to capitalize on this point. And as the eliminations are coming through, it's looking like Team CC should be able to capitalize.
Bunny comes back on the Doomfist as well. Speedy characters from Team CC to capture out this point. It was a great showcasing, though. Kami came up, found value in the uppercut, actually, to allow Merit to find that headshot on the Bunny, essentially, as Team CC now have a Dragon Blade available. Maybe they could be looking to build up this Nano Boost just quickly enough. Lingan Esports and Huya, yeah, they're going to be taking swaps across the board, as well as far away back to the Zenyatta. Probably realizing that building that Nano Boost in time to try to find value in the Dragon Strike would not be in time. You know, if this Dragon Strike is completed before Molly can find the Transcendence charge, this could actually find tremendous value. And plus, where Merit is probably going to be playing around, you can dedicate a full Dragon Blade to that solo kill. Although you may think it's a waste, that's a tremendous find if JWJ can pull this out in time.
Oh, J-Mac in a touch of trouble, forcing a lot of cooldowns out, but the self-destruct sequence, it finds a lot of value in the utility. No full eliminations, but again, you can see what that means. Supercharger, Immortality Field, all down. JWJ trying to make a heroic play, but it's countered by the Transcendence. And just like this, LGE have to see the opportunity to get in front and actually find elimination, but Bunny is pinned up and is able to take down Molly. One of the first times they've been able to say that in that 1v1 specifically. But regardless, Team CC, even though they lose all of their utility, they're able to stay alive and find the kill, and now it turns into potentially the second point here on Dorado.
Far away, putting themselves on the board again. The Zenyatta's killing Widowmakers throughout this entire match so far. Absolutely insane. Great flick to kill off Kami as well. Team CC are finding numbers here as the self-destruct has to be utilized.
It's looking pretty solid here, Panda. It really is. Team CC will push through the second point, and we'll take a small reprieve in the action. And of course I say that, and Merit, who has the split spawn, will just come on through and find Bunny and then back up saying, you know what, you're starting to get a little bit too comfortable, friend. Just remember, I'm still looking at you.
I can't believe JWJ is going to sit here and say on the Genji as well. I see the front face value that you're trying to find pressure onto Merit, because Bunny obviously can't do it by themselves, but that's why double snipers seem to be reign supreme. But JWJ on the Genji looks a lot better than they do on the Hanzo.
Bunny, a little bit of vengeance into Merit immediately off the spawn. Transcendence was forced from far away. Maybe you wish you would have had that for JWJ's blade. Not gonna make a difference. Sven in the Pilot Diva able to get eliminated. JWJ has to deal with the Immortality Field. We'll find one. Molly looking for the 1v1, able to capitalize. But meanwhile, in the front line, it's a trade of takes, and that's going to favor that of Team CC, so the payload will continue to move for a small time until Merit gets back into the action, takes down Mizuki, which means there's no healing here for Team CC. And Kami, he will give us a little bit of a wave goodbye on Sia, saying later, see you later. And now just frozen, just this is BM. This is, you really hate to see that.
It's not BM. That's a great stall right there. You see Sia, just stop fighting it, man. Like, he just allow yourself to get eliminated, but that's just the one thing about Pilot Diva. If you didn't know, the passive of Pilot Diva is that you get staggered for an eternity, and well, that's just Sia's passive of Pilot Diva. But you know, it's again, it's not BM. Great usage of the freeze. Early infrared sight from Merit. And they also have support ultimates to try to break through. Team CC, Bunny, back over to the Ash, trying to find value. I don't understand this comfort pick, but it can find value on attack. We're in last fight territory. You can build a bob very quickly, and backed by the supercharger from Fearless and the amplification matrix, this could be huge.
Bunny's already down though, and again, 20 seconds left. Molly still has a Transcendence in case they absolutely need it. Amplification Matrix from Mizuki as well, but it feels a little bit desperate as the Supercharger's also thrown the mix, and Molly once again headshot onto his counterpart of far away. And well, it's looking like it's about over. This fight never really developed for Team CC. They didn't really have a lot that they could have used, but you mentioned it, they were trying to get Bunny involved for the Bob, and he just got taken down too early. Last desperate charge, Bunny will fall before the seismic slam can even really connect with the payload. And now it's just up to Fearless to maybe just swing around and do what he can, but this is not the greatest spot for the swing as you see him just pinballing off the walls. And that will likely be just about it for Team CC on this push. A pretty convincing second stage, but not able to turn it into the full map, so win condition is absolutely here for LGE.
Oh, things on the list that you hate to see. Hero selection screen for Team CC. They, you know, it's just... the value that you're trying to find on these heroes for the certain areas of the map just really don't make sense. I'm sorry. Like, it's just... You know what? No, I'm not sorry. No, the Ashe just doesn't work on point C, especially for a last fight. I mean, like, you try to build the Bob. I'm trying to look at this in a complete optimistic point of view, and it's just not going to find value. I'm so, like, versus the Mei, versus how well Merit's playing as well on the Widowmaker, the one-shot potential, versus the needed to be damage boosted one-shot for Ashe. You're just trying to find... The TNT is the only thing that you can find value on point C. And again, it's just to create space. It's just to pressure out the bunker. And once you make the bunker move from the defending side is when you can hit the gas, but you didn't have time. You only had one more fight to be able to do that, and then you get picked through the window. Team CC are playing from so far behind in these fights that it comes down to what we call clutch values, and they don't necessarily have a consistency when it comes down to clutch values, apart from like a crazy headshot coming out from Bunny, or, you know, we see the Zenyatta's popping up in the kill feed quite often as well. And then the tanks in between for both these teams, that's where the clutch value is being able to find. But Lingon Esports are a little bit ahead as far as Team C, a little bit further ahead than Team CC. Their clutch values are being found in their DPS as well. Kami finding right clicks on top of right clicks with the ice picks, and then Merit on top of finding headshots. It just allows Lingon Esports and Huya, such as Molly, to find crazy off angles of their positioning, and that just forces Team CC into into being pressured out. They lose their positioning, they lose their sight lines, and then they lose the fight. Team CC now, this is why we saw them come to Dorado with the far on defense, can find a little bit more pressure, but when you're facing Merit that's hitting these shots, I mean, this dude is just finding tons of pressure.
You're giving up so much ground early, hoping that you can play just this one stage where JWJ can maneuver around that bell tower, floating just above to where our camera position is to the top right. And you can see LG just not worried about it. Bunny able to find Kami. Mizuki does fall, so no res available as the Mercy's no longer on the table. 5v5 action. Sven looking to make his way maybe around the backside, and you have to worry about JWJ so much. And I say that Merit able to find him, so now 5v4. Sven, potential for the backline pressure. This comes down to, will he actually commit to it? Wants to stay with his Orisa, and that's a lot of scrap damage for Sven. Fearless able to hold back. Fortifying up, amplification matrix there, and that will force LGE back for a small time. Bunny looking for another, like you mentioned, an off angle from the backside. Amplification matrix now for Lanksa. He will take down only the Immortality Field. Pulled into danger is Fearless. Able to stay alive though. Sia taken out of mech, and now Sven very close to the whole hog. You gotta feel like he's gonna pop this if he needs to, which he seems to think will be yes. That'll force everybody away, and there's nowhere for that Mercy to go besides out of the fight. And no, JWJ falling. Lingon Esports and Huya able to finish off point A as soon as they take care of the Baptiste.
And there goes Far Away. We talked about it. Kenobi hit the nail on the head. Far Away on this Baptiste. Does not look comfortable as well. It's a very slow charge rate as far as the amplification field is concerned. Far Away over to the Ana. Could be comboed well with the Mercy. Team CC are struggling as far as hero composition is concerned. JWJ came back on the Genji just to make it back in time. You see them going back to the spawn just for that. Over to Zenyatta, over to the Hanzo. A little bit more of a standard composition that can find a little more value, but again, you're putting two snipers onto Merit, the solo sniper for Lingon Esports and Huya, and Merit's winning. And that's concerning.
And the other thing is, again, we talked about it on Ilios. We're going to talk about it here again. The fact that Team CC has to go all the way back to spawn.
Oh, no, Mizuki.
Just to find themselves. Well, this is an awkward little 1v1. Kami wants to finish off on Mizuki. Has to wait for the Immortality Field. Will just keep freezing him over and over until it fades away. That'll be enough damage to finish off Team CC's healing and Mizuki. Far Away again, having to swap late.
There's going to be a capture point
here. Yeah, it's absolutely going to be a capture because Team CC, like we mentioned, having to swap, has no opportunity to build ultimates. So they essentially say scrap point 2. Let's just fight for the full map hold.
I just am so lost as far as positioning, resource management for Team CC. It is all over the place. And now you only have 60 more meters to go to put yourself up on set point. Lane's pressuring out Bunny. I mean, Bunny hasn't even had a chance to truly fight Merit in a long-range duel because how much pressure LGE and Huya are putting onto Bunny. And there's the comfort pick. Again, TNT, you're going to have to pause the game to reload your gun as Ashe, and it's just very hard to find value in such a thing. See, these fights you're going to have to find for JWJ just to be able to pressure out any sort of recess for LGE and Huya.
No. Sia able to find a clutch conversion there. And again, we've seen this happen before for Lingon Esports and Huya, but Molly forces the Transcendence, and that's a lot of value from LGE just completely gone. Unless they can find a couple of scrap kills, because Tommy has found elimination into JWJ. Maybe there's an opportunity. Okay. Little ice block movement, looking like the ice climbers here as Tommy's able to get on up. But again, there's just not enough pressure from the front line to allow him to sit here and contest. But look how close that payload is.
Yeah, it's one more fight here. Just under 4 minutes for LGE and Huya. Great use of the Fortify. It's a flying horse. It's a Pegasus. And Fearless having a hard time just continuously having footing. The window will come out, and Mizuki kills off their counterpart of Lanesa. So eliminations are coming through so far for Team CC, but LG and Huya, they just want to stack their ultimates for one last fight here, man.
And again, if they can cycle through, there is enough pressure potentially defensively to put this through. It will be far away with the Transcendence. He wanted to get aggressive. They do turn it into one elimination onto Merit. Sven is still holding himself into a corner, but Faraway is able to take down Kami, and that will be another nice little staggered hold here for Team CC. One ultimate at a time. Maybe you can cycle this. You've got the Bob and the Dragon Strike, and they're fighting a couple of staggered eliminations as well before LGE can fully reset. So just like that, only 3 minutes. I say only. You take a look at that payload, though. It is starting to inch its way backwards.
Putting themselves in one more fight plus a stagger, or a very stalled out fight, I suppose. But again, one more ultimate at a time, far away. Needing that Transcendence alive. Again, not going to have it available for Kami's Blizzard that's about to be coming through in this next fight. I can only assume it's Lingon Esports' win condition. They get a good Blizzard off through the window. They can eliminate everybody, where Team CC look for that 7th man to come out with Bob.
Big damage. Now the Dragon Strike into the back line will force LGE forward. If JWJ can get away with his life, he will be able to do so. Bunny with the pick on Akami. Again, cycling ultimates. LGE want to commit to the 5v6, though, as they drop the Supercharger on the corner. Amplification Matrix forced out. LGE, though, able to take down the front line. Sven, whole hog, looking to push everybody back. Bob is on a really bad spot in the corner. He'll be able to hold off potentially some of this push, but again, there's just so much damage you can focus down the Bob, and, well, now Sven, easy hook. That's just far away, trying to do what he can to stay alive, and he's actually able to get a pick on the Molly and stay up. Are you kidding me, Team CC? I thought it was for sure going to be curtains, but they hold on.
No, Sia's defense matrix usage. I'm telling you, man, this player you need to keep your eyes open for. If you don't pressure out Sia's defense matrix, or you don't get Sia out of mech, these fights become 10 times more difficult for LG and Huya, who also invested all of their utility as far as tank ultimates and supports as well. Sven over to the Diva to try to put pressure out a little bit more. Trying to eat that TNT from Bunny, who's finding tremendous amount of value, while Kami still holds on to the Blizzard. It's their only win condition now.
Comes down to, can he find a way to potentially get this one off successfully? A couple have been mitigated, whether it be by Sia or just eliminations as a whole. Ooh, man, I was going to say J-Mac very, very close to falling. Immortality Field comes out, Amplification Matrix trying to find a pick, and they will take down Merit. Now just about 70 seconds left. JWJ has got himself a chance for a Dragon Strike. If he can find a pick here, it'd be massive. Sia taking down Kami. Bunny does fall, but he'll be back off the respawn pretty quickly with a Bob if he wants it. And LGE are falling apart at the seams underneath 60 seconds now.
Oh man, this is one fight territory. You either win or you lose this map, LG and Huya. But again, the Blizzard, Dragon Strike, they're stacking their ultimates along with the Baptiste ultimate. The Amplification Field could put a lot more pressure onto Team CC than what they're looking for, but they also have their Bob available.
Lunge into Dragon Strike for both of our Hanzos. Bob into the mix. Immortality Field, Amplification Matrix, all the utility being utilized for Langsa. He's 1 HP. He's able to stay alive, though.
Oh, that
Less
wall.
than 30 seconds. The payload, front 2 wheels, are on that box of victory, but they still have to break on through, and Faraway has a Transcendence. He lets it loose right before Fearless or Sia fall, but still, it's the Blizzard for Kami. We've seen it twice. Will we see it a third time? No counter ability here, and this is gonna zone out the payload. There's an elimination, and LGE are able to clean up because once again, Faraway hits Q just a little bit too soon.
We talk about that poor usage of the Transcendence, but what we can talk about is great usage of just the primary fire coming out from Kami, freezing up the Diva this time. Won't allow that Blizzard to get eaten up a second time, and that's exactly what you're supposed to do. I was going to hit it right here, but he able to showcase it. Fantastic use from Merit.
Kami and the rest of the team get it done, but it's not without concern. Kenobi will bring you in. It was a great cycle of ultimates initially to stall things out for Team CC, but at the end it comes down to one moment, and the small mistake costs Team CC a chance to tying up the set.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like Blizzard is a really good ability when there's a team clumped up in C like that.
way.
And I mean, props to Kami for like understanding that I just need to freeze this diva, turn to the left, hit Blizzard, we win the map. Like it's very good play, and it really makes me think that Kami at this point really is probably the best Mei that we have in Chinese contenders. He has an incredible sense of the game when it comes to playing the Mei. Walls are perfect every time. Blizzard's, a lot of them don't get the greatest value in terms of freezing people, but for zoning capabilities and stuff like that, you don't see it in the kill feed, but you see it if you're looking at the game, and it's a lot of his plays have been really good so far. And the most frustrating thing I think about this is for Team CC is that there are moments, like shining moments, where they look pretty good. Like that whole defense basically was
Very
like,
great.
it looks very decent, but the issue is that you're losing all of these early fights, and you're giving LG time to have, like, you're giving them much more time. Like you lose first point very quickly. You lose point B without even taking a single fight. You take like that one half fight, but because it's like Mizuki gets caught out of position. So for Team CC, it's just frustrating because they seem to have the ability to win these fights, but they just don't have the time. That's the biggest issue.
And my biggest thing is not only the time, but the fact that, like you mentioned, it's a little bit almost of a surprise that they're able to find as much value with these comfort picks versus the top competitive meta. Panda, again, that's where the time bank comes into play, is the fact that you talk about that second point. They have to make swaps to more comfortable picks. It essentially chalks up the entire second stage of the map, and it came down to time bank at the very end as we take a look at some of the highlights from the map.
Yeah, I was about to say time is definitely a word that we can use. Well, it's not on Team CC's side because time is running out as far as their contenders run is concerned. Gauntlet spot on the line.
This is so good, by the way.
Yeah, that wall into self-destruct. Yeah, but both you and me were kind of making the same face over here in our call, and that's the one thing too. Like we highlighted it during the cast. I found a lot of value, but I'm gonna go back to that question that you asked as well, Alan. Because of the current meta, not being able to showcase the Mei and being able to build wall for wall, everybody always asks, well, how are you supposed to counter a Mei that's finding tremendous value with another Mei? It's
fire
crazy.
with fire.
Yeah, you got ice with ice.
Ice with ice.
Yeah. you gotta be able to fight.
Man, ice
the wall
can burn,
for the wall.
man. Liquid nitrogen, that stuff hurts.
Yeah, you could get freezer burn. That is a thing that technically exists in this world. But again, you have to be able to fight the Mei for the Mei, and that's one thing that Team CC are not showcasing. They're showing their comfort picks, and it's not necessarily working. I mean, although the TNT is finding pressure and value, Team CC, you gotta play the Mei here, man, because Kami is just popping off, and he is just teeing off as far as fighting value.
Yeah, and well, for LGE, there's a lot of good things about them. There's a couple people on Team CC that I would like to, like Mizuki has playing very good. She's been playing out of her mind whenever she's on Baptiste. Her Mercy looks good as well. They're trying their hearts out. The only things that's been consistent really for this team has been the tank line. C is playing phenomenal. Panda mentioned it in cast. C is trying his best to put the backpack on, and Mizuki on Baptiste has looked incredible. We saw it in that replay, negating that halt bomb combo with just the immortality field timing. Very well done. And Fearless has looked pretty good so far. So I think those are the most consistent parts, but it's JWJ, it's Bunny, and it's Farway who are the inconsistent parts of the team and that are really hurting them.
Yeah, Bunny maybe with the Jansport on, but it looks like he's going to need the whole 5-piece luggage set if he wants to carry this one all the way through. Again, we are still continuing on. It's first to 4, so don't go anywhere, friends. We've got another control coming up just after this. Hello, everyone. Welcome back again. First to 4 here for the Chinese Contenders Grand Finals, and it is a 3-1 favoring LGE. Pardon me, I'm IHOLDSHIFT. I can't even say my own name. It's getting so wild in here. IHOLDSHIFT and Panda. We're heading to Nepal for the control, and well, we saw a lot of instances where in our first map on Ilios, it was 100-0, 100-0, and nearly a third 100-0, going back and forth until LGE weren't quite able to finish things off. It just comes down to me, again, Panda, we talked about it, this hero chess, composition chess. Who's going to come out on the proper composition first? Will Team CC try to come out with something cheeky? Will they just wait? How about a little Symmetra boost just to get them a little bit further forward for LGE? It's a nice little smart play to get themselves in a little bit early map positioning. I
mean, instead of going for the Lucio, you use the teleport to get yourself a little bit closer, I suppose. Team CC, again, you got to be concerned if you're Team CC. They're showcasing the Pharah and the Mei, a comfort pick for them yet again, but you have to be concerned in a way that control is not your strong suit, especially when most of the times when you are winning fights in the previous maps, it's all objective based.
Well, both teams will dive into the objective. A nice wall, though, as the point does open up very early for Team CC, but maybe a small mistake as they weren't quite able to take down JMac, who was caught without any kind of help whatsoever by the wall play. So now LGE able to get it back to full HP. Merit able to take down Mizuki. So without a Mercy being here, it's looking pretty favorable because that support line is so crucial for this front line to stay healthy. And, well, Bunny, he'll look a lot better so far on this May. Able to find another nice wall to allow a little bit of a stall, plus the extra HP to get farmed on up. Merit wants to get aggressive, almost finds the converting shot onto JWJ, but has to go to the automatic portion of the sniper rifle, and C is not interested in playing up against that, and Team CC will now finally win the first point, and they'll find themselves at 35% and counting up.
Here we go. So starts that control percentage. How are you going to break through here if you're LGE.Huya and Huya going over to double sniper? You can't get through this single room on Sanctum. You got to be careful because Bunny also has the Blizzard available. LGE.Huya and Huya, they're just getting pressured out.
Another nice wall from Bunny, just to force everybody from Lingon back. Very close to a couple of ultimates that could potentially break the fight open for Lingon. But again, Team CC have the ability to counter right on back. JWJ gets taken down though. And now all of a sudden 6v5 with the Blizzard gets eaten. Oh, that's unfortunate for Bunny. Sven with the clutch play, and that will likely be win condition established for this fight as long as LGE can find themselves the target prioritization, which of course they can. Sven lighting up the kill feed as all the eliminations will come through, and there will be a point swap at 78%.
Oh man, and the staggers coming here on the Sia. If the point was still in their favor, that would have been very impressive to push it into a last fight. Even that 78% can be troublesome. JWJ giving up the far, going over to the Hanzo now. Blizzard getting eaten, you're right. Absolutely devastating because now Molly has a free transcendence. You can use this as a tempo change into this next fight. Team CC, they only really have the supercharger. They can walk underneath the Valkyrie, but the wall coming out from far away, again, very slow to build. You're going to need to use this window very soon so that way you can find any sort of pressure far away.
Dragon Strike, pushing everybody back. Supercharger was there for Team CC, but again, this is just for shield poke at this point in time. They'll finally follow up forward. Self-destruct sequence into the back line will be walled off. Very nicely played from Bunny, who's very close to another Blizzard. 75% of the way there. Starting to make progress on the recapture. But again, here's Molly with the transcendence. We talked about Faraway using it too soon. Molly maybe pulls the trigger just a touch too early as well. Amplification Matrix is there. Need to take down Bunny very quickly if they want to have a chance at this one. And with Fearless dropping, that might be actually enough pressure. And where are you going to go from here, Team CC? They're completely caught in this back room. And, well, that's enough damage funneling into there to take out a couple more. The Blizzard's going to be forced out, though. Team CC want to fight this. And look at this. J-Mac just sneaks around the wall that Bunny placed. Maybe that little bit of inexperience and uncomfortability coming through for Bunny as Merit is able to pin himself up and find 2 eliminations. And LGE will hold down as they find 78% of their own.
The commitment for that fight was a little questionable, like you were saying. I mean, again, when you use the Fortify as Orisa, you're just free of any sort of CC, pun intended, because Team CC are just absolutely struggling against LGE.Huya and Huya here on Sanctum. They are going for more comfort picks. They're going to be going over to a dive composition. It's going to be Genji Tracer dive, actually. You're looking for the backline of Molly, who's about to have another Transcendence, and the Supercharger's out here early. It's just going to be pressuring Team CC away.
And JWJ makes the desperate swap back over to a Genji with a lot of question marks, I'm sure, floating around a number of our heads. I'm sure Kenobi's probably thinking the same thing. Rez is trying to get there. We'll find Fearless up, but again, this is a 6v2, and you think that the numbers would likely win, and well, you would be correct. And 178 on the first point. Again, the desperate swaps, it just feels like it was forced out, but again, what else can you do, right? Because Bunny tries to make the hero play 4v6 with the Blizzard, and nobody gets taken into it, so another little missed opportunity there, and maybe we're, again, seeing the staple and the conversation point we've been hitting all the way throughout, that Team CC does not look ready to play on the current best composition, trying to stay on comfort picks, and they get punished for it there on the first point of Nepal.
This is set point coming out from LGE.Huya and Huya. They put themselves one step closer to winning out grand finals of Chinese Contenders. Team CC, again, like you were saying, the meta pick is playing with the Mei and playing with the Hanzo, or even the Reaper as well. Though LGE.Huya and Huya have not even showed the Reaper apart from Temple of Anubis in a stall, Team CC are really struggling. So they're going to have to go over to this double sniper pick and try to just pressure out LGE.Huya and Huya. The shield pressure could be there as well, but you see them just, the shield gets put down, it gets broken immediately, and they just back off, and giving up this first territory onto the point, that's not exactly what you want to do.
Not having a good May is really starting to feel like the kryptonite to Team CC. as again, Kami's been able to essentially play for free in this winter wonderland. It's a snow day. Bunny looking to snipe, but again, there's just so many shields and walls in front of him that he's not able to do anything. And Merit able to sneak around the side, lunging forward to find Bunny, and he's able to turn around for the immortality field. So now again, there's just no one here to help keep Fearless alive. Far away drops, Fearless drops, and now all of a sudden 20% for Leon.
Oh man, Team CC again. Here we go. Bunny onto the Ash. Gonna have an amplification field available. Leon Esports and we are gonna be having a bunch of ultimates to be playing around with. It always seems like, especially for Control, Team CC are always playing from behind, but it's not because of the pressure of Leon Esports. Team CC are putting themselves there, and they need more. They need more pack for the punch, and you could say it's the Kryptonite, absolutely, but it's also just how well Kami's been playing, being able to find tremendous value in the Mei since the 2-2-2 lock came out.
See what happens this time around. Already 50%. Bunny taken down very low. 6 HP. Will be healed up. The TNT found a little bit of damage of their own. And how about that? A headshot on the JMac through the amplification matrix. Opportunity to come on in. Dragons get eaten by Sia. Team CC down but not out as they start to push their way back forward. And this is looking like it's just staggered elimination after staggered elimination. And Team CC should be able to flip this point. This comes down to how much extra percentage will LGE get. It looks like it'll stop at 72%.
Team CC now are going to be able to have a pack full of ultimates as well. Sia going to put themselves over the edge, going to reset their mech as well, because you don't want to be able to give up that ultimate charge or even play as Pilot Diva to leave that opening. You need the defense matrix. You need the self-destruct walking into this next fight. Leon Esports and Huya probably understand this as well, as Kami is not going to have the PTSD coming from Dorado. Needs to freeze up Sia before this blizzard comes out.
A lot of ultimates, though, for Team CC. Oh, JWJ gets taken down from a headshot out of Kami's ice gun. And now the self-destruct sequence in the back does take down JMac. It's going to be essentially a 3v3 as Bob will also join into the mix this time around. Just comes down to who can find these last couple eliminations. It's Sven, very full HP. And with Merit and Lengsa finding a couple eliminations on point, it's looking like it will be LGE to hold on to this as they're trying to flip the point back into their favor. And they will be able to do so, only allowing 45% for Team CC.
Oh man, and now this is pushing themselves in the last fight territory, and Team CC used every single ultimate apart from their support ultimates. Far away, holding on to this Transcendence. I hope you are holding on to this Transcendence for Kami's Blizzard that's about to be coming through. They're also going to have an amplification field in the meantime, but Leon Esports and Huya, they have impactful ultimates still in the Blizzard. Even finding one, if not two, with these DPS ultimates is going to be huge, and Fearless is already down.
This is awful, not having that main front liner.
No, not again.
Mizuki's stuck in the corner, will be taken down as well, and all of the hopes and dreams of Team CC will fall with those picks, and another whole hog for Sven. Your Chinese Contenders Season 2 champions in 2019 will go the way of Leon Esports and Huya, 2 in a row, the champions of 2019 China.
We talked about the ultimate flex, losing out the gauntlet spot, then losing out one gauntlet spot, and now winning Chinese Contenders the second time, like you mentioned, going to gauntlet to represent Chinese Contenders, and very well deserved. Again, when Merit came around, and even after losing against Phantom Wizard in their final weeks, that was absolutely impressive. It's well deserved. They're playing this meta perfectly with Kami on the Mei. We say unleash, and that is just showcased here today.
We'll bring in Kenobi to wrap things up for us. Again, this has been quite a journey for LGE. Only a couple of weeks ago, they lost to Phantom Wizard, and now they're crowned the champions of Chinese Contenders. What a trip.
What kind of bizarro world are we in right now, where it's like, if I had asked you, you talked about it at the start, if I had told you that, like, LGE.Huya is going to repeat, being the only team besides Lucky Future Zenith, who is arguably the best team to ever play in Chinese Contenders, probably would have called you crazy, right? There's no way any of us going in thought it was going to happen. It was always going to be BLG is going to be the one who's going to win everything. LGD is going to even be in the semifinals. So we have this bizarro final that LGD finally wins. And boy, I mean, credit to LGE.
Absolutely.
Losing Hacker at the end of the season, you have to get someone else. You get Merit, slots in very well. But I think really the person who has shined the most for LGE is Kami. Kami finally, unshackled, can play this Mei. And as we saw, a good Mei is very important. And on that last map, really, it showed just Kami was doing so much better. Even when Team CC was playing Mei, like, Bunny didn't look terrible. It looked probably the best that I've seen Team CC play when Bunny was on Mei, but just, boy, Team CC, a lot of questions surrounding them. And for LGE, I think this is probably at this point the best team if 2-2-2 is going to be the meta, if this is what we're going to be playing at Gauntlet, this is the best team without a doubt to go there and to represent the Chinese region.
Absolutely. And we can sit here and highlight so many different things too. We saw Sven come in at the beginning of the season. You and I specifically, Kenobi, we had this conversation. We had a lot of question marks about this off tank coming through. Absolutely shining through. The Roadhog looks fantastic. A very good diva player as well. And that's exactly what you need if you're going to be comboing along with a star-studded main tank like J-Mac. But I cannot let the unsung be unsung. These supports from Molly specifically, tremendous value coming out.
Molly's
from this
really
grand
good,
finals.
man. He's really good.
Pretty damn good on that Zenyatta. I'm not going to lie. We saw it coming through when Lingon Esports were playing the 3-2-1, their stalwart of a composition, when we still had Hacker playing onto this team. But now it gets to be shined in a different limelight. This Zenyatta player, the Ana is also very clean, so that option's always there too. But then you take a look at how good of a Baptiste Langza is as well, able to find tremendous value. Well, we saw like one fight, a very stall fight in our first control map where Langza built 3 amplification fields. That's just impressive.
He lapped Farway, by the way, in one of the maps.
Twice.
It's like,
it's crazy.
That's
it's great, and that's what you need.
Performance.
And that's what you need. If you're looking to go to the gauntlet spot and you're looking to win your region of contenders, this is exactly what you need. You need a very strong tank line. I know this is going to be a four-headed statement, but you also need a very good DPS line, one that's able to find value in finding these different off angles. And then you also need a support line that doesn't overextend, that knows how to utilize their utility ultimates such as Transcendence and what they're actually being able to find impact on. LGE.Huya, again, very well deserved on winning grand finals, and I expect them to be able to make moves. They're on the redemption arc, especially heading to Gauntlet.
We'll take a look back at the bracket as far as what that journey did look like just in the playoffs alone. Again, starting off against the Giant in T1 WGZA, they were able to take that one in 5. LGE then go up against what a lot of us would have considered to be the best team in Chinese contenders just before the playoffs started, able to take down Billy Gaming 3-1. And then if you tuned in, you saw it, a 4-1 here against Team CC. And, well, they're looking just as strong as ever when it comes down to them potentially going up against those other top contenders teams here in a small moment. Again, commiserations to Team CC. They made something special happen, just weren't quite able to get things done. Final thoughts from you, Kenobi and Panda.
I mean, so for Team CC, I mean, you got to grand finals. I see a lot of bright spots going into the future with this team. Maybe the meta is going to shift a little bit, or they'll, they have some time to grind out the heroes that are probably going to be in the meta, get a May player or something like that. But there are some players on this team that I really think are going to go places. I think Sia, really good off-tank player. Mizuki shined pretty good this entire series. I mean, when they were on the Baptiste, great play. When they were on the Mercy, great play as well. And I think those are the people who I would probably, if I'm Team CC, try and build around and keep her.
Yeah, I mean, Team CC, again, I was highlighting probably the best player, the most consistent player coming out from this team today was Sia on the Diva. Fantastic use of the defense matrix, but it just wasn't enough. My final thoughts especially was that LGE.Huya, they have a lot of teams to be combating against when it comes down to Gauntlet. You got all those teams coming from NA that look absolutely terrifying. Then you also have Korea that you got to be worried about, and that's really where they struggled when we went to their showdown originally. Was they got absolutely mollywopped, like we were talking about in the pre-show here, in that showdown, and they're going to need a little bit more of this consistency that's being able to come through, finding these off angles as well, showcasing everything that they showed us today here, guys. This is going to be a team to really look out for. And we say team, but I'm really meaning Kami. You really got to look out for this May. This May is absolutely insane.
I mean, silver lining for LGE.Huya is that they have nowhere to go but up from last showdown. They didn't win a single series. So now just, I mean, win one series and then we'll go from there. And I think they can definitely pull off a series win against one of these teams. I think there's no question if Kami's going to continue to play May at this level and Merit's going to continue to enable him to do so with a tank line as well. I think there is a very good chance that LGE redeems themselves from last showdown and earns the fact, and we can be proud of this team for going to Gauntlet and making some things happen.
Well, we'll see what happens. Again, that gauntlet will be coming up in the beginning of October, October 9th. 10 teams, $250,000, all coming from you from Seoul, Korea. You're not going to want to miss that if you're a fan of Overwatch Contenders. But that'll wrap up our coverage and our season here for our Chinese Contenders broadcast. We'll catch you guys for the gauntlet coming up, like I mentioned, at the beginning of October. That's Kenobi, Panda, IHOLDSHIFT. We had Capitiano, Ben, all the staff that have been a part of this broadcast. It's been a pleasure being with you guys. Until the next one, though, hope you guys all keep holding it down. So long.